Yeah, this is really a huge issue in our modern society today with our over the top sexualized culture. It's nearly impossible to walk through a local shopping mall or college campus or really any public venue without being bombarded and overwhelmed by a tidal wave of near pornographic imagery. This is such a massive problem that I see it without exception every day from young men desperately seeking help, drowning to death in this ocean of distorted sexual temptations that lurk around every corner and that are not only permitted, but in fact celebrated and glorified in our mainstream liberal culture today. Let's focus on what young men are up against, simply because that appears to be the population that is struggling the most from this issue, or at least from my experience. Now, that's not to say that young women don't encounter and grapple with thoughts of lust as well. Certainly they do. But typically I find that the physiology of the lustful temptation is slightly different for the female. Women seem to suffer more with cravings and desires related to fantasies of intimacy, scenarios conjured up in the mind of relationships, closeness, being valued and exalted by another, being allured and enamored by the romance of falling in love and being the object of someone's affections and devotion, which is simply a different construct than what young men face and deal with. Perhaps in the future we'll do a video directed more toward lustful issues, directed more toward what's harmful for young women. Now, as for the traditional temptations of lust that men generally confront, the way to defeat them is to better understand their origin and how they attack. Once you recognize the inner workings and mechanisms behind these thoughts of lust, you'll be better equipped to diagnose how the virus spreads. So first, let's describe exactly what we're dealing with. I would define a lustful temptation as an incitement or an allurement to some sexual desire that in its design can lead to an immoral act or the temporary reward of a fleshly pleasure.